All right, guys, so one of my biggest issues with the left is that they like to act like they're on this moral high ground. They have this holier than thou attitude when they think that they have won. And my problem with that is that they have short-term memories. I have a long-term memory. I remember what happened back in 2016 when President Trump beat Hillary Clinton and how they did not want to accept the result.
Donald Trump has got to go, Donald Trump has got to go, Tell me what democracy looks like! This is what democracy looks like!
I wish to debate. I wish to ask, is there one United States Senator who will join me in this letter of rejection?
There is no debate.
One.
The gentlewoman will suspend. The chair has previously ruled a signature from a senator is required. Objection cannot be received. The sergeant at arms will remove the protesters from the gallery. The chamber will be in order. The change will be in order.
This is what democracy looks like, they say. Right? Oh, really? The leftists tried to tell us about what democracy is after President Trump had beat Hillary Clinton, right? So they had their time to vent their frustrations with the election results. But when the right wants to vent their frustrations with the election results and investigate the alleged irregularities that took place, all of a sudden, it's a problem. It's an issue. Oh, man, you guys are trying to overthrow democracy. Politicians like Josh Hawley and Tommy Tuberville and Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene, all these newcomers, oh man, they're just looking for political clout. They're just trying to get ahead. At the end of the day, what they're really doing is that they're listening to their constituents. Okay, if we the people elected a representative or a senator in Congress, and we the people think that there was something wrong and that we're not satisfied with the results and that we want an investigation, it is their jobs to do that. Okay, and that's not to say that some of these people, right, are not just trying to take advantage of the opportunity, that some of them aren't just trying to enhance their profile and get some clout for 2024. Obviously, that's what some people are doing. But at the same time, the people want to be heard, and the people have not had an opportunity to be heard yet. And I'm really happy to see that politicians like Josh Hawley have stepped up to the plate and are leading the charge for what probably is going to become a new Republican Party. But before we get into that, my name is Greg Foreman and you're watching A Black Conservative Perspective. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share A Black Conservative Perspective, aka a leftist worst nightmare. You can also follow me on Twitter at GForemanBCP. Let's get it. All right, guys. So before we get deep into Josh Hawley, Mike Pence came out and gave a speech in which, you know, he's kind of getting people hyped up for the Senate races in Georgia, and also for what's going to go down on January 6th. Let's take a look.
If you're heading out tomorrow, friends don't let friends vote alone. Bring a family member, bring a neighbor, and vote to send David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler back to Washington, D.C. You know, I know we all got our doubts about the last election. And I want to assure you, I share the concerns of millions of Americans about voting irregularities. And I promise you, come this Wednesday, we'll have our day in Congress. We'll hear the objections. We'll hear the evidence. But tomorrow is Georgia's day. So for our faith, for our freedom, we need you to vote Georgia, vote to send David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler back to the United States Senate.
All right, guys, so that's Mike Pence basically trying to hype up the crowd and also trying to allude to people having their voices heard on January 6th, which is what a lot of people want, regardless of the outcome. And it's just so annoying that a lot of leftists can't understand this, and they always just want to try to accuse people of trying to overturn the election, even though most of these people, right, the politicians, have not said that. Most of them have not said we're trying to overturn the election. Most of them have just said, listen, I'm listening to my people. I'm listening to the people that elected me. And because I'm a representative of the people, I'm going to go on January 6th and make an argument for them, because that is my duty as an elected official. The same thing the Democrats did back in 2016, 2004, what they've been doing throughout history, right? But for whatever reason, when the right does it, it's a big problem. They're trying to overthrow democracy. So let's listen to Josh Hawley here, who, in my opinion, is a rising superstar and probably the front runner right now for the 2024. If worst case scenario happens with Trump and then he decides not to run, I have to say Josh Hawley is probably my number one candidate right now for the GOP nomination. Let's take a look at his reasoning for objecting on January 6th.
This is about the integrity of our elections. And this is about taking a stand where you can take a stand. I mean, I suppose you can just say, well, listen, nothing I do will matter. It won't matter if I object or not, so I'll just sit by and do nothing. I mean, that's one approach, but I can tell you that the people of my state, they won't understand that, and they shouldn't. They say you have the opportunity to stand up and be heard and to object. You have the opportunity to try and force change, and you should, and that's what I'm going to do.
All right, guys, you hear that answer? It's simple stuff, guys. This is very simple. It's about the integrity of the election. It's about standing up for those who voted for you, who are calling you every day and telling you, hey, we want answers. We want investigations. That's what it's about. This man is purely doing his job, right? Okay, if it helps him in 2024, so be it. He's answering the call of the people. But Bret Baier felt the need to press Josh Hawley harder than I've ever seen him press a Democrat any day of my life. Let's take a listen to this.
That the Supreme Court was not interested in it. Do you think that if the White House or the campaign had focused on Pennsylvania alone, rather than a strategy to sort of throw everything at the wall and see what stuck in all these states, that they might have gotten further with this process?
Well, Martha, they tried to go to court in Pennsylvania. The Trump campaign did, and so did other Pennsylvania citizens, and they were thrown out. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court threw them out improperly. Here's the gist of it. Pennsylvania politicians changed the law about mail-in balloting. The Pennsylvania Constitution doesn't allow universal mail-in balloting. They went ahead and changed it anyway. Then the Trump campaign tried to go to court to say, hold on, and the court threw them out without even hearing the substance.
Senator, but
so
the Supreme Court didn't take up that case either. They did not take up the quick case, the Supreme Court. We've seen courts across the country deal not only with not the standing of different cases, but also the evidence, and some of them Trump judges. I just want to pin you down on what you're trying to do. You know, are you trying to say that as of January 20th, that President Trump will be president?
Well, Brett, that depends on what happens on Wednesday. I mean, this is why we have the debate.
No, it
this
doesn't.
Is why
I mean,
we
the
have
states,
the
by the Constitution, say they certify the election. They did certify it. By the Constitution, Congress doesn't have the right to overturn the certification, at least as most experts read it.
Well, Congress is directed under the 12th Amendment to count the electoral votes. There's a statute that dates back to the 1800s, 19th century, that says that there is a right to object, there's a right to be heard, and there's also a certification process.
That's from 1876, Senator, and it's the Tilden-Hayes race, in which there were 3 states that did not certify their electors. So Congress was left to come up with this system, this commission, that eventually got to a negotiated grand bargain. But now all of the states have certified their elections as of December 14th, so it doesn't, by constitutional ways, open a door to Congress to overturn that, does it?
Well, no, I'm talking about the statute, Brett. There's a statute that governs what Congress does on January the 6th, and it says that we have a vote of certification and that we have the opportunity to debate the results, to certify the results. We count them and then we certify. And my point is, this is my only opportunity during this process to raise an objection and to be heard. I don't have standing to file lawsuits. I'm not a prosecutor anymore. I used to be, but I'm not anymore. I can't investigate claims of voter fraud on my own, but I do have a responsibility in this joint session of Congress to either say I've got no problem with it or I do have a problem with it. And my constituents
Right,
expect
but don't
me
you
and
have
their
a
right to say, I
responsibility
have
to
a
your
problem.
constituents? Don't you have a responsibility to tell them that it's not going to be President Trump as of January 21st as well?
Well, Brett, I'm trying to do something more than just that. I mean, this is about the integrity of our elections. And this is about taking a stand where you can take a stand. I mean, I suppose you can just say, well, listen, nothing I do will matter. It won't matter if I object or not, so I'll just sit by and do nothing. I mean, that's one approach, but I can tell you that the people of my state, they won't understand that, and they shouldn't. They say you have the opportunity to stand up and be heard and to object. You have the opportunity to try and force change, and you should, and that's what I'm going to do.
All right, guys, so everything Josh Hawley said there is the same stuff that I've been saying in my videos for the last basically week, right? And I really don't understand why, a lot of people just don't understand this simple concept. These people are elected representatives, okay? Josh Hawley's job is Josh Hawley's job. It ain't nobody else's job, okay? And this applies to all the GOP representatives and senators, not just Josh Hawley. When it comes time for them to be reelected, they know that Trump is not going away. Trump is not going to let America forget about what he believes happened during this election. And because of that, right, when the constituents go and ask senators like Josh Hawley and representatives like Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Ted Cruz, why did you not stand up for election integrity? Why did you not object on January 6th? Why did you not stand for Trump? The answer to that question can't be, well, Mitt Romney told me not to do it. Well, Mitch McConnell told me not to do it, right? The answer can't be what somebody else told you to do. So what other choice do a lot of these people have? The choice is they can either not do it and potentially lose their jobs and how the people hate them for it, or they could take the concerns of the people seriously and have the people's voices be heard on January 6th. Now, like I said, guys, objecting is different than voting no. Okay? They can object. Objection just raises arguments. And then they're going to have a vote. The vote is really what's going to be interesting. People that's objecting at this point, anybody that's joining in on it, that it don't really mean much. At this point, what counts is the votes. Okay? The votes will tell you where a lot of these people really align. But at the end of the day, if you object, you give the argument, you make your voice heard. I think that's what a lot of people want. And I think the left and the mainstream media, it really bothers me that they just can't accept the fact that there are people that, don't believe this election, was done right. Right? Give them their day. We haven't had our day in court. We haven't had a chance for the American people to hear it without ridicule, to actually hear it in a legitimate setting. That's what a lot of people want. Let's let it happen. Right? And let the chips fall where they may. All this, they're trying to overturn the election. They're trying to, overthrow the government. They're against democracy. All that is just talking points that they did not use back in 2016 when the far leftist liberals was triggered by Trump winning and the Democrats was sitting there trying to object to President Trump winning. Now, it wasn't successful, but they tried. But I didn't hear that, you're trying to overthrow democracy. I didn't hear any of that. But just because the GOP are doing it now, and there's more people that's doing it, and everybody's watching it, all of a sudden, overthrowing democracy. When this has been happening for years. Objections are normal things. It's normal. I mean, guys, there's video of Nancy Pelosi that I've displayed on my channel or her making the exact same points that a lot of these politicians and President Trump are making right now. Nancy Pelosi. Back in 2004. But nobody said, you're trying to overthrow democracy. Nobody said that. That's only reserved for people on the right. That's only reserved for Trump. Just the hypocrisy from the left and the mainstream media is just ridiculous. What's going to happen is going to happen. And what's going to play out is going to play out at the end of the day. That's always been my stance. And I feel like if more people just took that stance, the world would be a much calmer place right now. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.